Welcome to your friendly neighborhood historian, where we discuss just enough history to inform, intrigue, and entertain. I'm Bill Petro. The history of President's Day. Is it more than just Washington and Lincoln? During my lifetime, two American holidays were consolidated into one. In 1971, a day between Lincoln's birthday on February 12th and Washington's birthday on February 22nd became a single holiday to be observed on the third Monday in February to honor all the past presidents of the United States and to get a 3-day weekend. When I was a school child, both Washington's and Lincoln's pictures were displayed prominently in schoolrooms. School children in many states have felt cheated out of an extra day off school ever since, with the two presidents' birthdays being combined into only one day. Is this a way of consolidating holidays for advertisers to do President's Day sales? Indeed, some state and local governments observe it as President's Day. The Uniform Monday Holiday Act of 1971 established more 3-day weekends. Nevertheless, U.S. federal employees observe it as Washington's birthday, though it rarely falls on Washington's actual birthday. His birthday was officially recognized as a holiday back in 1885. Lincoln's birthday on February 12 is not a federal holiday, though some states observe it going back to 1873 or, in Buffalo, New York, 1874. George Washington, even during his lifetime, the Virginia native was known as the father of his country, though between him and Lincoln, Abraham looked like the father, and George's long hair made him look more like the mother. Nevertheless, George was a natural leader, standing 6'4" amongst troops who stood 5'9". He appeared at the Continental Congress in his uniform, the natural choice for a military leader. Many of the founding fathers graduated from the finest colleges in the land. Jefferson and Monroe went to William and Mary. Adams and Hancock went to Harvard. Madison went to Princeton, which was known back then as the College of New Jersey. Jay, Livingston, and Hamilton went to Columbia, or King's College. But Washington went to war. He had experience fighting for the English King George III in the French and Indian War in America. Still, the American Revolutionary War saw him fighting for independence against the same king he had earlier served. Washington stood between two periods of American history, the end of the colonial period and the beginning of the national period. He served only 2 terms as president of these new United States of America, though many would have supported his rule for life. Napoleon Bonaparte of France was amazed that Washington would step down when he didn't need to. The tallest American president at 6'4" was Abraham Lincoln. The Kentucky native is one of the most popular, best remembered, and most often written about presidents in American history. He, too, served during a time of bitter warfare, again with brother fighting against brother and neighbor fighting neighbor. This time, though, during the American Civil War, or what became known in the South as the War Between the States or the War of Northern Aggression. While this great conflagration had many economic and political causes, Lincoln's name remains associated with the abolition of slavery. Lincoln, like Washington before him, connected 2 periods of American history. In Lincoln's case, he saw the end of the national period and the very beginning of the modern period, which would follow the Civil War. These 2 men presided over 2 great wars, one for the freedom of independent government, the other for a different kind of freedom. But about the same number of Americans died in the Civil War as all other wars Americans were ever involved in, because We count the dead on both sides of the conflict. Counting those who died on battlefields combined with those who died of disease and infection during the Civil War accounted for over 4% of the American population. President's Day, two great presidents. The first man, who served as the first president when he might have been king, is remembered for his selfless deeds. The other for his extraordinary words that began to heal a nation after the largest battle ever fought on American soil. As Lincoln recognized those who fought and died at the Battle of Gettysburg, he concluded, "It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth." Thank you for listening. I'm Bill Petro, your friendly neighborhood historian. You can find more details on this topic and others at my website at billpetro.com.